test the water first?
It was a feeling of both. Because again, my emotions wanted to. No, it's the opposite. My reason wanted to. It seemed reasonable. But my emotions did not want to. My instincts, because I was sinning just as you were. I was watching pornography and masturbating. I had to change my ways. Not only change those habits, but also arrange my life in such a way that it gives glory to God. Maybe I was doing it already, but I wanted to make it more expressed. So it was. This sounds reasonable, but I'm just a 16-year-old, so I have to adjust my life.
Okay.
So it's those two things.
Right.
Right at that moment, I would say.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, the question was, how is it now?
How important is your faith to you now?
Okay, from then on, it has always. How important is it now?
It's been your rock.
It is the rock.
Yeah.
So it's the thing that gives meaning to me in life. I have not have any aspirations or dreams
that
don't revolve around Jesus, because not even before, because I always thought as aspirations as being unreasonable to an extent. When you're little, you want to be an astronaut.
Basic.
But you're in Bolivia. Who the heck has a freaking rocket in a third world country, right?
Right.
Right?
Because you're an immigrant. You were an immigrant. And immigrants don't get to fly rocket ships.
Right? So, you have dreams. And I appreciate the fact that you execute your dreams. This is a dream that you have. United Wisdom. So, and I'm very pessimistic when it comes to that. So I never had a goal. Right? So I never said to myself, I want to be a millionaire. I never said to myself, I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that. I always knew I had the potential for something. But I wasn't preoccupied of the details. Right? So when the rock appeared, when Jesus appeared, now like fully, and I recognized the fact that he was my rock, I knew that whatever I decide now, because I still don't know, I'm just a kid,
right,
has to revolve around this.
Because it made sense.
Yes. So I'm not now anxious about my future. I'm more anxious about my relationship with him.
Good.
So that's how important it is.
You're more anxious about your relationship with Christ because you don't want to lose it. Because it's been your rock, and it is your rock. I mean, that's good. I think that's good, right? Like, that's better than being anxious about anything else.
No, yeah, to an extent, I'm also anxious about school, about after this podcast, I'm going to go home and just start typing some essays that I have to do. I'm anxious about that. I'm anxious about what I'm going to turn in tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. My responsibilities with my mom. Yes. But they're very little in importance compared to what it means to recognize
the severity of them, or
the severity of that. Yeah.
That's great.
And a lot of people, they get caught up in those little in inconveniences of life.
They're amplified.
And they're amplified in their perspective because they don't have nothing as a rock.
What they have here is their rock. What they build is their rock.
What they build, their family is a rock. Even the family is not eternal.
Yeah, I think Patrick Madrid has a book on that. And I heard it on the radio today where he was talking. And he was saying how everything in this life can give you satisfaction. And there's some things that can give you long-term satisfaction, like marriage and things like that.
Right.
but there's nothing that will give you eternal satisfaction unless that is the eternal God. You know?
No, yeah.
That yeah.
I don't feel satisfaction either. I'm still, young, and I have my person is the past, the present, the future. There's still a lot of future before me.
In comparison to what could be, there's no satisfaction. But I think what Patrick Madrid was trying to get at is that
I have a lot of.
If you were to die today, are you satisfied with what Christ has given you? That's what.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, if you put the thing, the limit, the constraint, if you were to die today.
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's why we shouldn't put our anxieties on tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't know if we could go home and die. You never know. I'm
not really attracted to becoming a friar at all. Mm-hmm. Because Dominicans, I like the Dominicans. Mm-hmm. They have intellectual charism, but they're still friars. They take about chastity, poverty, obedience.
The Franciscans, you said?
Dominicans. Chastity, poverty, obedience.
And Father Casey, he's what?
Casey.
He's a Franciscan, right? Franciscan friar.
Casey, breaking
in habit.
He's a Franciscan friar. Mm-hmm. The other white...
And the Franciscans are the intellectuals, right?
What I just said, the Dominicans.
The Dominicans are?
Yes.
And the Franciscans are more practice and emotion based?
No, I'm not comparing the intellectual emotion. I'm not saying that. The Dominicans, I'm saying, they're studious. Their charisma is to study, to, again, what, as I said before.
Okay, so study and service. That's what it is, right? Dominicans are studying, Franciscans are more emphasized in the service.
Correct.
Okay, yeah. And then...
do you know Pints with Aquinas? I forgot his name. The friar that comes up sometimes.
Oh, yes.
He's a Dominican.
Oh, what's his name?
We could just look
The bald dude now.
The bald dude now. He's a Dominican friar.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What is he again? Dominican?
Gregory Pine,
yeah. But you know which ones I like the most? The Jesuits. They seem more intellectual than the Dominicans to me. Because they're really into apologetics.
The Jesuits were founded as a way to counteract the Reformation. Mm-hmm. But there's
I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? I know.
There's a lot of things I don't know.
Okay. Maybe I'm the history nerd as well.
Part of the reason that I wanted the podcast as well is to learn from people.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah, so the Jesuits, and the reason why I balked when you said that is that Father Martin is a Jesuit.
Really?
And he's pro-LGBT.
Pro-gay.
Pro-gay. Mm-hmm. So, if they're intellectual, they're so intellectual that their intellect is sometimes called outside the church, I would say. Mm. Whereas I think the Dominicans are more traditional.
I like the Jesuits because of this guy. Hold up. I'm finding him right now.
There's a EWTN guy that's a Jesuit.
That's him.
Father Pacwa.
I love Pacwa.
Polish. Yeah, like that. He is. The fact that he's a Jesuit, he has really good training in catechesis and explaining the faith.
That's the one that I'm most attracted to. The
Absolutely.
orders.
Yeah.
Talking about the Pope, because you did mention it.
Yeah, the Pope is a former Jesuit.
Oh, really?
He is a Jesuit.
Did you hear what happened today that's circulating the news about Pope Francis?
What I know is he convened I don't know if today started the Synod of Synodality.
The Synod of Synodality? What is that?
That's the latest news.
I'm talking about secular.
I
know it's Pope Francis, but it's news that's been secularized. So basically, I don't know all about it, but have you heard about people saying that? I'm actually finding it on Instagram right now.
What I know, also he appointed a lot of cardinals.
Where are you learning this stuff? What do you have on your phone that takes you straight to that?
Instagram.
Following what?
I follow Rome, Vatican News.
I follow EWTN, but I didn't know about Rome Vatican News.
Vatican.
Basically, something that's circulating the news right now and all secular outlets as well is the idea that supposedly Pope Francis says that blessing gay couples is good.
Mm-hmm.
That we should bless gay couples.
Mm-hmm.
But what really happened is that he probably, I don't know, but I'm just guessing, that he actually just met with a gay person. No, he probably met with someone, and the person probably told him that, he asked him, like, oh, is it okay to bless gay people? He probably said, yes, it's okay to bless gay people, because, they're people.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter. And then people were like, oh, Pope Francis says you should bless gay relationships. That's what they're taking from it.
Yeah, he's taken out of context a lot.
Yeah. No, so yeah. Everyone's saying like, oh, Pope Francis is saying that being gay is good.
And I don't care what the secular media talks about the church,
look,
really, because
Pope suggests Catholic Church should bless same-sex couples.
Bro, you always look at that funny-looking pose in freaking what's this?
That's how secular it is.
Rap Instagram, bro. Follow actually.
I didn't follow it.
Follow Vatican News.
I didn't check it from here. Alex sent me it and asked me what I thought about it. And I told him that it was probably taken out of context. And my mom asked me about it this morning, talking to me about it. And she's like, what do you think? And I'm like, I don't think it's real. And she's like, what do you think about it? And I was like, oh, it's probably taken out of context. She's like, yeah, that's what I think too. And she's actually one of the people that actually say that. Actually, a lot of people say it anyways. But she says that Pope Francis is like not like saying all the right things.
I mean, there's two
like
different.
There's committing a lot of error. I wouldn't say my mom is a sedevacantist.
Yeah.
But she is like.
There's the sadists and the people that just like
criticize invalidly.
Criticize, yeah.
My mom's one of them. But the time in which I feel like she started leaning towards sedevacantism without realizing is when she started telling me that when we spoke about the issue of taking Eucharist in the hand, she was like really against it. And her explanation was, oh, it's the Second Vatican's fault. And I was like, that sounds like sedevacantism. And she got really angry with me.
It's like saying...
But I asked her, so what, you don't think it's valid? And she's like, you don't think it's okay? But she's like, yes, the church says it's okay. And I'm like, okay, then it's fine.
There's a lot of misinterpreting of Tabernacle Council documents. And the documents are actually constitutions of the church.
You do have a part of the church that you find least attractive.
What?
Novus Ordo churches. You always say that they look Protestant and you don't like that.
Novus Ordo churches? It's just American churches.
The churches in America here that...
There's a lot of them are... A lot of parishes are really... I mean, the ones that I experienced in Miami.
Okay. Is Novus Ordo the opposite of what a Latin Mass would be?
Novus Ordo is the style of liturgy.
I know what it is.
You're saying the architectural style.
Right. Yeah.
I accept the Ordo. I'm
talking about architecture. Yeah, go on.
The architectural style, modernist. I don't like it. I have one example. I recently went to Washington D.C. my second time during Leadership Institute, conservative, non-partisan group that teaches young college students to participate in the political realm. I went to Mass in Washington D.C. It didn't look Catholic to me, bro. Yeah. It was like it looked like a freaking Pentecostal assembly.
Yeah.
And they put an altar and that's it. But it was super trad.
No statues.
There was a lot of really pretty colored glass windows.
But no statues.
No statues.
Iconography.
No iconography. There was
no Jesus on the cross.
There wasn't
Jesus on the cross.
Was there? You see, I don't even remember if there was one Jesus on the cross. But the thing, okay, maybe there was.
Do you remember the name of the church?
Yes, I forgot. I have it.
Okay.
The thing that bothered me the most, bro, where you put the Eucharist back.
The Tabernacle.
The Tabernacle was nowhere to be seen.
Where was it then?
Maybe in a chapel on the
Maybe it was on the other side of the chapel. You don't know. Yeah.
Maybe, but
You think it's supposed to be visible?
I feel like if we were having mass in the main.
In the church.
In the church, in the main room. Because churches now they have the church, the library, the chapel, the center hall. If you should have a tabernacle in the church.
Right, because it's the center of it.
By minimum.
Mm-hmm. And they didn't have it, and you didn't like that.
And I was like, I was pissed by the architecture.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the mass was really good, like extremely reverent. It was very early in the morning. Like the mass was at 7 a.m.
But do you think that's a flaw? Like that shouldn't happen? Like, do you think it compromised the validity of the mass?
The validity? No, I'm not talking about validity here. I'm talking about
just preference.
Not only preference. I'm talking about ways of honoring God and taking the tradition, the architectural tradition. The Catholic tradition is a valid form of architecture. If you're trying to impose modernist ways into the church by getting rid of icons, getting rid of basically Baroque, style, which has been Baroque style is counter Protestant. Mm-hmm. That's the whole reason why the St. Peter's Basilica looks so beautiful. It was to counter Protestantism.
Okay.
And we're in Protestant country, and you don't help the cause by making a Catholic church look like a freaking house.
So the postmodern architecture of Catholic churches is the aspect that you don't like then?
Yeah, I'm not a supporter.
You're not a supporter. It's unattractive to you.
It is unattractive.
Okay. We got one then.
Again, I will say that
it doesn't compromise the validity, is what you're trying to say, but it's just preference.
Not only that, it's that it all depends on how wealthy a community is.
Right, because
I will say, if you have the means,
you should
make a good, beautiful church. Mm-hmm. If you don't have the means, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, that's...
like people in Latin America. Okay, I have a problem with. You know Brian Holdsworth.
Yeah.
He has the same criticism as I have when it comes to architecture.
Okay.
I disagree with him when it comes to music. He argues that classical styles of instruments like piano and the other piano that sounds different are the only valid instruments. Not valid, but aesthetically pleasing. When it comes to mass.
Piano and the
organ.
Mm-hmm.
The organ, sorry. Organ and piano. Mm-hmm. Guitar, bass, not traditionally Roman right instruments are not aesthetically worthy, in his opinion. They should not be used in the Roman rite, he says. Whereas I will say, okay, makes sense if you're in America, if you have the means to buy a piano and an organ, it's fine. I think it's valid if you're in when I was little, we used to make this pilgrimage in my country to it was called El Divino Niño, the child Jesus. the divine child.
Mm-hmm.
It was an image of the child Jesus brought from Colombia
Right.
to our country.
Mm-hmm.
And they made a, like a little shrine, like a parish, with the image. But it was 100 kilometers, let's say. It was like from here to Orlando when it came to distance. So you had to travel by car. Mm-hmm. And it took us like 7 hours because, you know, the geography is different.
Right.
But we will get there. And again, people from the city will go there and, you know, praise homage to the icon.
Right.
It was a Catholic church. Mm-hmm. But it was so old, it looked like, again, the architecture, it was Baroque. It was like it was mostly out of wood. Mm-hmm. It was old. It was, you know, it needed some, you know, beautification efforts.
Right.
But I felt that it was not modern, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't trying to be hip. Mm-hmm. It wasn't trying to be modern. It was trying to do the best they can, right? Mm-hmm. Again, it wasn't St. Peter's Basilica, mm-hmm. but it was keeping the Catholic style. You know what I mean?
So what you want is for them to honor the church as beautifully as they possibly can.
Right, and masses, sometimes they will have a guitar playing, mm-hmm. because they wanted music in the church.
Right.
They couldn't afford to buy an organ.
Right. And this isn't a valid versus invalid mm-hmm. question. This is just preference, right? Just to be clear.
Yeah, I'm not arguing for validity. I'm arguing preference. For not only preference, I'm arguing for, well, it's my preference, to be clear. But I'm arguing for beauty.
But this just sounds like preference. Because isn't beauty preference? Isn't it not subjective?
No, and that's one of the disagreements that we have for a long time, is that I don't believe that beauty is preference, whereas he believes that beauty is preference. I believe beauty is subjective.
I think what I'm trying to correlate this entire topic to is sacrifice to God. Validity.
Everything's valid.
Everything's valid. But the way I'm seeing it is like this. The sacrifices that we give to the Lord, if they are not beautiful to Him, then they're not valid. In a way, anything...
Who says that?
I think I'm using beauty in like a different way. I think that's what it is. Because, okay, remember the story...
Beauty is not a factor for validity.
But you're making it sound like it is.
I'm saying it's objective. I'm not saying it is a factor for the mass.
But objective is a matter of fact. It's not. Objective has validity. Objective is either valid or invalid. It's either it's beautiful or it's not beautiful.
Correct.
In the same way of, does this music honor God? Yeah, like using these instruments honor God? Yes or no. If it doesn't, then we shouldn't do it anymore. Is it a sin? No, but you probably shouldn't do it anymore. You're not giving God the best sacrifice, in a sense, that you could be doing by
the thing using, about the mass is that the validity of the sacrifice.
Right.
It is by the words.
It's by the authority of that Jesus gave the priest. But what I'm trying to get at here is, what we're saying is that our honor to God, our giving honor to God, is objective. That's what you're saying. Because God wants a beautiful sacrifice. Because in Genesis, in the Old Testament, I think it was in Genesis, He accepted Abel's offering where he didn't accept Cain's, right? And he said that Abel's had a sweet savor, right? From what you remember, in a sense, you could say it's beautiful to him, to his preference, which would seem subjective. But if it's to God,
it's objective.
It's objective.
Mm-hmm.
So in a sense, we're trying to see is which form of instrument in the Mass is objectively sweet and beautiful to him.
Mm-hmm.
So which way can we honor him in the right way?
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. It doesn't make it valid or invalid in the same way. That's why I don't agree that it's objective. That's why I'm saying it's subjective. But in the matter of preference, I do think that classical traditional instruments
are objectively
more honoring.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. That's why I would never change the hymns of the church.
No, yeah, they should be changed.
Yeah.
And if they want to adapt the hymns to guitar, I think.
But you said you agree with me.
Yeah.
But you disagree with Brian Holdsworth.
With music. With architecture, I agree.
But I was talking on behalf of music.
But do you agree with Brian Holdsworth?
Yes. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that traditional instruments in the Mass honor God better.
I'm putting my disagreement comes with the factor of do what you can with your means.
Of course, but we're speaking on the hypothetical that they can.
Oh, if they can, buy an organ, bro.
Yeah. But did Brian Holdsworth in his video ever say that if you can't?
No, he doesn't take in consideration like.
So then so you can't know that you disagree with him
because he makes his perspective of what he knows in Canada because he's from Canada.
Right.
So he sees that in Canada, he wonders, hey, they can upgrade, the music, and that's valid.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree with him in that context. When you apply it somewhere else, you can expect that from everybody, right?
Right.
Everybody needs a Mass, but nobody's gonna get the same Mass.
Okay, right. So the conclusion is traditional instruments honor God the best. What I don't think is that Brian Holdsworth would say, if you don't have traditional music, you're not honoring God. I don't think he was trying to say that.
Yeah.
So you don't disagree with him.
Okay, yeah, I don't. But I disagree if you take his argument more globally,
Which is like, if you can get an organ or piano, you should use it, even if you have a guitar. You should use an organ and a piano.
Yeah.
Because it honors. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. So you agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
So you never disagree with him.
Again, I disagree with him if you take his argument globally.
Globally. But he didn't say that it was global.
No, he didn't say that. I was trying to just
expand
his argument.
So you're disagreeing on the other...
That's what I said. I disagree with him. I agree with him to an extent.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see, I always have ambiguous answers too.
No, but it's good because then we have more to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's more interesting.
And and that's just like...
I mean, it wouldn't be good if everyone spoke like a textbook.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Do you have any criticisms of the church? Despite the architecture.
Of the Catholic Church?
The Catholic Church. Today.
I feel like it's too easy to criticize.
But it's valid.
Of course it's valid, but...
What's the first thing that pops up to you?
Catechesis.
Catechesis.
Yeah.
That's a valid one. When I went to Georgia, my dad was looking for a church to go to. And he found a Catholic church nearby where we were going to stay. And he was like, oh, we're going to go to this one. He kept scrolling on the website just for the sake of scrolling. And he found a banner that said, celebrating LGBTQ on certain day.
No way.
Yeah.
I was looking for a church in Washington, D.C. when I was... the first time. Back in January. And there was a church that had like... Catholic church that had a LGBT mass.
Do you think it's better to have that instead of just LGBTQ?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think it's better to have Catholics that are LGBTQ in like celebrating a mass dedicated to them, which isn't even a valid mass at that point, or the alternative, which is just secular liberal LGBTQs.
I pick the secular liberal.
You would?
I think they're more honest about themselves, because the LGBT Catholics, they want to be part of the church, but they want to keep the lifestyle.
And I would argue as well that they're disgracing the church.
Of course, yeah.
I think that's the worst part. I agree with you. Okay.
So I would pick the atheist liberal over the Catholic LGBT.
What's your opinion on trad Catholics, like diehard trad?
I think that's a good reaction to
Diehard trads.
I think it's okay. I don't know why diehard. It's
Radical.
they're Cerebacantes?
Borderline.
I think if you're borderline, that's a problem.
Like valid radical trads. Like the ones that aren't yeah. Like the ones that aren't explicitly supporting heresy.
I think I'm with Pope Francis that if you try to create division from a trap perspective, you're as bad as a liberal trying to create division on the other side. Again, they're valid. There may be some liberal Catholics that are, but liberal in like, not politically, because if you're a liberal, you don't align with Catholic values.
Yeah.
More moderate Catholics.
You're talking about ones that aren't as conservative.
Exactly. Those are still valid, right?
Like ones that wouldn't fit your preference. Like, oh, I like postmodernist churches.
Exactly. If you're charismatic and you like postmodern, and you're more concerned about the role of women in the church, you don't want them to be priests, but you want them more. Less conservative. That's fine. Eh? But don't call them for be priests or stuff.
Do you think that that's dangerous though, to be that?
No.
For what you just explained?
No.
As long as it's not the whole church, right?
Again, there are factions within the church. So that's the best part.
But what if
Keep them
that
factions.
group of liberal Catholics that aren't defying moral law, right? What if they become the majority? Not by like 51%, but by like 75%.
I mean, it doesn't matter if nothing matters.
Don't you think that there's a danger in losing tradition?
I'm saying it doesn't.
And your objective beauty?
I'm saying it doesn't matter where there's minority or majority. The church is not a democracy. You don't choose.
I think the rad trad reaction is a consequence of that idea that I'm explaining right now.
What?
The idea that these liberal yet well-structured Catholics become the majority, and that they fear losing the traditions of the church and the objective beauty that they believe in.
And again, that's a valid concern, and they should be radical tracks.
Okay. But you would have no problem if the liberal Catholics if the postmodernist Catholics, let's call them that, because liberal isn't a good label. Postmodernist Catholics, you have no problem if they were to become the majority.
Okay, when I say liberal, I'm not
talking about politically or against the moral law of the church or the church itself.
We're not talking about LGBT.
I'm talking about preference.
I'm saying Catholics for choice are not liberal. They're out of line.
Right.
LGBT Catholics are out of line.
Right. I understand that. I get it. But I'm talking about, don't you think that liberal Catholics that favor postmodernist churches, that advocate for women speaking more in the church or being participants more in the church, but not becoming priests or saying anything against the law, the church's law, God's law. Don't you think that there's a danger in that? And if they were to become the majority, don't you see the danger as well? That we would lose tradition in a way?
Tradition never dies. Because it's handed down. So, even if it's by a minority.
See it this way. 75% of churches are now postmodernists. Hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
And women are more vocal in the church. Not more than men, but slightly less than men.
Mm-hmm.
And there's less, you see less Latin masses, and you see less organs and pianos at church, and more guitar and joyful music, and more charismatic groups.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there's a danger in that?
Not if they're regulated.
But if it's 75%, this is not already unregulated?
I would say in the same way will be the opposite. If it's 75% rat trash, it'll be wrong too.
Of course, I agree.
You're putting numbers, eh?
Mm-hmm.
75. That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. It
so
is.
I'm not. In my mind, the ideal will be 50-50.
Right. That'd be the ideal. That'd be the hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think there's a good in diversity.
And there's always factions.
Right. I get that, and that's fine. I have nothing against that.
That is just the natural way of things.
But you do know that there are liberal Catholics that are trying to get rid of Latin masses. And same thing, vice versa. Like the factions are borderline creating a, what is it called? Division.
I think when either faction is trying to erase the other faction, it becomes out of step.
So that's the line we don't cross.
Yeah, that's another line. It's Catholics for choice, LGBT, other Catholics that
We're not talking about that. I'm talking about trying to eradicate the other.
No.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Catholics for choice, LGBT, Catholics that try to eradicate other Catholics. Those are out of step.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. That makes everything a little more clear.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm listing out of step people.
I think that's a good rule to have.
Because you're politicizing
the
role of the church.
I think that's a good step to have because that's analyzing behavior rather than political stance. And behavior is something good to regulate.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think about that. That's actually really good. I think that's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
What Catholic personalities do you look up to? Or do you that you observe often?
Brian Holdsworth. He's a father. He doesn't show his family. He's just a dude that's really intellectually engaged. He's a comrade, and he's honest, and he's a rational guy. Mm-hmm. He thought through.
A rational guy. That's what you said.
A rational. Humble. He recently, if you check his channel, he recently wants to create a society. It's been a society where people from parishes can get support when it comes to his latest video is like, what's the title?
It is Things Are Going to Change for Me Now.
That video, he's releasing a website where he's like gathering. Are you watching it?
No, I'm just looking through his page. Go on.
No, yeah, absolutely. That's a page. Mm-hmm. It Fisher something, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever. Yes.
A reinforcement for the church.
Yes.
Join the reinforcements.
The reinforcement. No.
What is it? It's not it?
It's not it, yeah.
That's his website.
Yeah, but he releases a new one in the video.
Yeah.
Fisher's Net or something like that.
Go on.
No, yeah, Brian Holdsworth.
Fisher Network.
Fisher's Network.
Join our crew.
Bishop Robert Barron was a big one for me too. Because he is just really like his videos. We should react to like one of his videos like later on or whatever. Like not today, but some other podcast you do.
We could do it on Zoom too. You know that, right?
Absolutely. Not yet, because he is a master of introducing people to the faith. He knows how to draw culture with religion. So good. I will watch videos like Bishop Barron on this movie, and he will react to the movie.
Oh yeah.
And grab a theme in the movie and tie it back to Catholicism. That's that's an excellent way of introducing secular people to a religious perspective. Other things of just broad topics, They will talk about personal experience he had when he was a parish priest. Draw it to make a firm, objective statement. Then give reasons, He will always cite his sources. I learned the importance of citing your sources with him, because I always knew it was important. And I also learned with Jordan Peterson when he spoke, because eloquent and articulate speakers, not only articulate but people that are credible, cite. They remember where they came from and how they got those ideas from.
And it adds credibility to what you're talking about, because then there's a way for other people to find it.
Yeah. And it's an act of humility, because you didn't come up with those ideas.
Right.
You borrow it. You're stealing it in a good way. And that's great, because you're sharing it to more people. I mean, I could talk about him all day. Or Mike Schmidt, really good.
Name one more.
Trent Horn.
One more. One last one.
Jimmy Akin.
Give me the one that you feel like has had the most impact on you.
Robert Barron.
Okay. So now let's go into quick questions.
Yeah. So one sentence answer?
Just like easy things.
So
that it's pretty simple. Do you have any quarrels about infant baptism?
No.
Okay. Do you have any problem with taking communion in the hand?
No.
What's your preference?
The tongue.
The tongue.
And if it's available, tongue and kneeling.
How often do you think people should go to confession?
In the LDO, you will be weekly.
Weekly?
Although monthly is okay.
Because that's what the church says.
Yeah. Oh, the church actually says once a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard it was monthly, but I have heard that as well. It was once a year.
That's the basic requirement, minimum requirement.
If, not to say that you know your vocation, but what do you think, as of today, what your vocation is?
Being a father. I mean, a husband.
Husband, right.
So the vocation is to marry. The whole purpose of marriage is procreate.
You can elaborate on this. What are your feelings on trad Catholics?
They're alright.
Can you elaborate with one or two sentences?
I feel they're a good reaction. Reasonable reaction. They're good because it's a reasonable reaction, and they're an example to follow for a lot of people. Because they take their faith seriously and they value tradition.
Charismatic Catholics.
My thoughts on them? I think they're good because let me elaborate the answer. You
can think.
Because I feel like they have valid. How could I say this? It's a way to evangelize the Protestants.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue.
Cool. Do you have any quorums about praying to the saints? Very basic stuff.
No.
Any quarrels about Pope Francis?
Quarrel? No, I believe he's a pope. He has authority.
Because you're a valid Catholic, of course.
Not only that, but that I think he's getting older. That by this point, I think like
Joe Biden?
Like Joe Biden.
Okay.
But in the sense that he's getting older, in the sense that it's like he might or may not allow other people to influence his papacy.
Mm.
I don't think he has
the cognitive, like he can't perform in a cognitively balanced way. Or he's losing that ability.
He's losing control.
Because he's old.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's not cognitively capable, but he's like... Maybe he's losing a little bit of because, okay, the Pope
in what sense? Like in a corruptible way?
No, I'm saying the Pope it's advised by the College of Bishops, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only him, but...
He's
so he has many...
influenced.
He's being influenced by... let's say a very corruptible faction in the church.
Can you elaborate? Like, where do you get this
German
idea
bishops.
from? The German bishops?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate where you get this information?
Where do you get them?
Where do you get this idea?
Okay. Because of the sin of synodality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a... I don't think he... I think he was pushed to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he does believe in synodality, but the way he thinks about synodality is not the same way as the liberal bishops think about
Explain
synodality.
what synodality is.
I don't know exactly what it is because there's multiple.
Mm-hmm.
Pope Francis says that, you know, the people in the church have the voices within the church matter. So you have a synod, sort of like a democratic, you know, place where, you know, the people, lay people give criticism to the bishops. The bishops go to Rome and they talk about the criticism of the people.
We didn't know that was a thing.
It's very modern idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the German bishops are questionable in their beliefs of being orthodox, you know, in the church, in the faith.
Mm-hmm.
So my worry is that he was influenced to do that in order to make segue to questionable doctrines to be inserted. Not necessarily overall in the church, but in regional churches like Germany, parts of Europe like that.
Can you give me one example of a doctrine?
Ordination of women in Germany.
He allowed that?
Not him, but I'm saying the German bishops, they're pushing for that openly.
And you feel like those are the ones that can most influence Pope Francis?
On Pope Francis.
Not that they can most influence Pope Francis, but if Pope Francis is really becoming more influenced by people like you worry, then you feel like they could have an impact on him that is negative to the church. Yeah, it's valid.
Yeah, I don't feel like he himself believes in that, because he doesn't. He said that. I know that. I read. Pope Francis it's orthodox. He's a pope. How could he be a heretic?
Right.
But my concern is he's giving room to I don't want to call them heretics, to the questionable guys to have their way. That's my criticism for him. The things he say, he's an Argentine. I know Hispanic people are vague sometimes. I don't mind. Some people believe that he's not tried enough. Again, he's a pope, so his way, again, he's being a moderate. I don't think he's being a...
Okay.
He's playing the influence, the many factions in the church.
Okay. You have, since I already know you don't have any qualms about, apologetic concerns on the other side, like devil's advocate, like what Protestants believe about us. I know you don't have any qualms about that. What do you think about the laying on of hands from the lay people? And I don't mean by giving authority, I mean by in the Protestant way that they usually do it. Because I know that the Charismatic Renewal has influenced Catholics, lay Catholics, to put their hands on other people and pray for them. How do you feel about that?
I think praying for others is a good thing. Starting with that statement. Some gestures are inappropriate. At the same time, on case-to-case basis, if I put my hand on you, or here, or I put it in your head, or I put it like that, trying to ordain you. I think a gesture should be accompanied with
intention.
With intention and a prayer to be and your own authority as a priest in order to be that. Okay. Because the priest does that, the prayer, the gesture, and his own authority.
Right. Okay. So when I see,
if you're missing one of those, it's questionable whether it's, of course, it's not valid, and it's questionable as you may be concerned that you may be usurping the authority.
Right. The reason why I asked that question is because I know that there's, again, Catholic lay people that have been influenced by the Charismatic Renewal in the Catholic Church that see how Protestants lay their hands on other people and bless these people. I know it's possible to say God bless you, and in a way you're like blessing them. You're not blessing them with your own authority, that's fine. And I think it's okay to put your shoulder on someone and be like, I'm going to pray for you. Like, I see that as okay. But I don't see it okay in the sense of, like, touching the head. I feel like touching the head isn't appropriate because I know that's usually what priests do when they bless you. They bless you from the head down. Especially when they put their hands up, they put their hands high so that you're blessed from the top down.
Right. And
I feel like if you're touching the top, you're, like, emphasizing, even if you don't really think you're doing it, you're emphasizing authority over that person.
Absolutely, yeah. It can be misinterpreted if that's not your intention.
Right. And even if it's not your intention, even if it's not misinterpreted, I still think it's wrong.
Okay. Also, it is valid to say that it depends on where you put your hands. Right. Because what if they put your hand on your leg, on your groin?
Okay, but that's dumb. That's like that's inappropriate just by gesture.
Exactly, right? Mm-hmm. So by that extension, why wouldn't it be inappropriate be somewhere else for other reasons?
Right, I guess.
Your head, because you're
sensitive areas.
Yeah. So
vulnerable areas, yeah.
Yeah, so just don't touch people.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of people laying their hands on you and praying for you in that way.
Right.
I'm okay with them touching in the shoulder and praying like, "Hey, brother, like I want to pray for you." Like that's fine. But there's people that have been influenced to be like, "Oh, I'm gonna pray on you." And they might not say by their own
they
authority,
believe they have to touch you,
and they believe that they're
transmitting some kind of like
power,
energy or power
because they believe they have like a charismatic gift.
Exactly.
That's what I don't believe in. Mm-hmm. I don't like it. Okay.
Okay.
So what is this?
Now I'm gonna tell you. I don't know, you could see it from the camera. Mm-hmm. This is my friend Patrick. Probably I'm gonna show him this podcast later on. He is a peer of mine in Miami-Dade College. Wait, I should have said that.
Okay, my Monday card is fine as long as you don't say the.
Yo, no, yeah, of course I don't say his address and stuff, but.
Do you even know his address?
No, I don't know his address. But really cool dude. He has a YouTube channel. I recommend him a lot. He's called Patrick
Madrid.
Couto. Couto, Couto, Patrick Couto. He does self-improvement. He's really passionate about helping people out, and he has a Discord community where he advises people in self-improvement when it comes to mostly for young men like us. I know him personally. He has become more religious lately, and so he has a video. This is a public domain. I didn't ask him for any kind of permission, but it's in the public domain. So if you're seeing this, Patrick, I'm sorry if I didn't tell you beforehand, but he has a video entitled "The Issue with Most Christians," and we're gonna react to it.
Play. Wait, I want to see the Tony Evans Study Bible.
Yeah, he has a.
What does it say there? You can't see it, right?
No, we can't. You wanna look it up?
Tony Evans Study Bible.
I never heard that version.
Me neither. It kind of sounds like Tony Hawk's Epic Reader Manual. There's no more Protestant Bible title than someone else's name on the title of the Bible.
All right. I don't think it's King James. I think it's its own translation.
You think so? Tony Evans? Who the heck is Tony Evans?
It's not even King James, bro.
Did you search up who Tony Evans is?
I don't even know who Tony Evans is.
I'm gonna search it over here. I'm Thursday.
No.
You know Thursday?
Who's Thursday?
From Pints with Aquinas.
Oh, I don't know.
Embracing God's Promises. American orator and writer. It's probably some Pentecostal Baptist evangelist.
Oh, is it him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's a Christian pastor. So he made his own Bible.
That's nuts.
That's crazy, bro.
Does he also have a private jet?
Hopefully. Bro, don't throw shit. He's my friend, bro.
Mega church.
But he's a good guy. So he's gonna. I just advise you. He's gonna like.
I'm not criticizing him. I'm just talking about the Bible.
We're talking about the Bible. He's a good guy. Dude. I disagree with him in some things. You're gonna see why. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Let's just react to it.
I'm not even gonna say that he's like a Protestant because he's probably just starting his journey as well.
No, yeah, of course. He describes himself as Christian.
Let me just say this.
What?
I have quarrels, like really deep quarrels with Protestants, but that doesn't mean I hate them. Okay.
Yeah, we don't hate.
I'm very anti-Protestant, but I'm not anti-Protestant life. That sounds like something crap, like something I made up. But honestly, like I have Protestant.
You're
friends.
against their beliefs.
I'm against Protestantism. I'm not against Protestants.
Of course.
Okay, and I've had a very difficult relationship with Protestants, especially Pentecostal Protestants.
His girlfriend was Pentecostal.
So I have biases, very deep biases that.
Your girlfriend
still to this day I'm practicing to be patient and loving and I'm not evil with them. I don't treat them badly. But I do.
Why you have to do this?
I do.
Of course you're not gonna. Like,
I know, but I have to point it out because they don't know me yet. So look.
They're gonna get to know you.
I love Protestants.
Don't be like Trump.
I love. I was thinking. I
love
fat women.
I love
fat women are awesome.
I love the Mexicans. He never said that, but
okay, whatever.
Bro, just react to it.
I love Protestants. Vote for me.
Shut up, bro. Okay, just start.
Vote for me. Okay, are we gonna watch the whole thing?
Do you want to watch the whole thing and then
let's watch the whole thing?
Yeah, it's better.
Wait. Sorry for cutting off, dude.
For my whole childhood, I was raised as a Christian. Me and my family would go to church, whether it was Saturday night or Sunday morning, but I never thought of it as something huge, especially when you're a child. You don't have the conscience of life. So when you're 5, 6 years old, yeah, I go to church, but in your mind, it's like whatever. It's just as if you were going out for a run or something. And it's not until about 3 months ago when one of my friends gave me a Bible as a gift that I started to actually take it more seriously. I started to read more, learn about God, learn about life.
You gave him the Tony Evans Bible?
I didn't give him.
I know, I'm kidding. Did you give? You didn't give him that one, right?
I didn't give him anything.
You said that you gave him a Bible.
He said a friend.
It wasn't you?
He has many more friends. I'm not the only.
Bro, that's why I gave you a pat on the shoulder and everything. I thought it was you. Because I was like, it was you. And you're like, yeah.
No, I was like, you see?
Oh, we're not close enough to have telekinesis.
No,
yet.
bro, we're like. I'm not gonna say.
You're gonna say something gay.
No.
Spirituality and about all the arguments of science versus God and everything. And genuinely, I think in the past 3 to 4 months, I've grown closer to him, and this made me realize all the wrong things that some of my friends were doing that claimed they were Christian and that I used to be doing, and I realized so many things that I need to share with you today. Faith is a big deal. It's not just a fact, like, oh, I'm going out for a run. Of course, when you're a kid, it makes sense because you don't have the conscience. I don't blame you if you're like a 5-year-old kid.
Is this like in a matter of weeks? Not saying there's a problem with that.
Bro, just listen, bro.
Based on how you know him, like, how long has it been since you started talking to him about this?
Oh, we haven't talked about this much. I
You just found out through the video.
I know that he was trying because he's mentioned it in class. Again, I don't know how long. Maybe it's been a matter of months.
So you weren't the friend that started talking to him about this that propelled him to become.
What makes you think
involved?
it's me?
Because I thought it was. We were joking around, and I thought that you were saying yes. But okay, whatever.
But if you're a teenager already, I think it is a big deal, and you should think about this. First off, I'm going to start by saying I'm not perfect. I probably still make mistakes. I probably still do things wrong. I've said I was a Christian my whole life, even though I never was actually doing the right things. So when I'm going to be talking about these things in the video, I'm not saying that I'm better than you or that I'm perfect. I'm just telling you what I was doing wrong so that you can avoid doing that and so that you don't lie to yourself. The most important thing is that you take something from this video in a positive way. A lot of my friends during my childhood and even now, they would just say they're Christian. Whenever I would ask them, oh, what do you believe in? Oh, yeah, I'm Christian. My family's Christian. Just how I told you I was. And it's just now that I realized that that's just so fake. How can you label yourself as Christian and then go out and do drugs and drink and get with a bunch of girls and waste your seeds? I would even say it's better for you to say that you're not a Christian and that you do all the bad things, okay, cool, than to say that you are and then you betray your own faith. I would have more respect for you if you told me, yeah, I don't believe in it, or I was raised, but I'm still figuring it out. I'm still slowly figuring it out. I would have more respect for you. I have more respect for people that don't lie and that are honest to themselves and honest to God and honest to everyone around them. And when I realized this, I started being more honest to myself as well. When I started believing in God more, I was saying, okay, I'm learning. I'm not going to say I'm fully Christian yet. I don't accept everything yet, but I'm learning and I want to get there. And I think this humble mindset is so much better than just saying you're a Christian just to get it out of the way, just as if you were white, oh, I'm Christian. It's not that straightforward. Spirituality is a process, and for some people it takes years. Look, me, I'm 18. It took me 18 years to get where I am today. For 18 years I was doing blah 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 whatever, and then 2 to 3 months ago I started taking it more seriously, and now I actually believe in it and everything. But for some people, your parents, it might take 20, 30 years, and that's why I don't blame you, as long as you're aware of it, right? If you purposely say, okay, I'm not going to be a Christian for my whole life, and then right before I die, I'm going to switch. No, because you know you're doing that on purpose and you're doing it wrong. It's all about, how I said, being honest to yourself. But for most of you, I get you. I've been there. I've said those things. I've said I'm a Christian and then doing bad things afterwards and not praying all the time. I've been there. That's why I want to make this video, so that more of you can not fall into this trap. Because God will judge you more fiercely if you claim you're a Christian. And that makes sense. Imagine you had a kid right now and one of your kids did something really bad. But then another kid did something bad. You would punish your kid more than that random kid, because that's not your kid. You don't care. You care about your kid. So just like we're the children of God, if you claim to be a Christian, then you will be judged more fiercely on your actions. So it's better to say you're not if you truly aren't than to say you are and betray your own faith. And the best way to test yourself is this. If you were to die tomorrow, how would you feel right now? What would you do tonight if you know tomorrow you were going to be sentenced to death? What would you do? You'd probably be praying on your knees. Let's say you weren't going to die tomorrow, but God was going to come from the heavens, from the skies. What would you do right now? You'd be like, oh crap, holy, I need to... Exactly. So be honest to yourself. And I don't blame you for not believing in it, because I think there's a lot of things that need to happen for you to believe in it. And I believe in it because of stuff that's happened in my life that gave me faith and confirmation and things like that. So I think for everyone, it takes time, especially you have to be open to it. And I'm going to make a video actually about debates on religion and everything. But the point of this video is that most Christians are fake. And unfortunately, not to hate on them or on those people, but it's all these fake Christians that bring down the perception of others of our religion. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but a lot of people, they hate on Christianity a lot. They say, oh, there's a bunch of fake Christians, which is true. There's a bunch of fake. And they say Islam, for instance. You know how Islam, everyone says it's super respected religion and everything. And if you talk bad about their God, you can get killed. And my argument for that is, if you were the devil, if you were Satan, which religion would you try to get people away from? Which religion would you be fake about? Which religion would you shit on? Probably the one that's the most correct, probably the one that you wouldn't want more people going to. And I know this sounds like a crazy argument, but that's what makes the most sense to me. But if you already believe in God, whether you're Jewish or Muslim, I already have a lot of respect for you. Right? I think we might not all be on the same page, but we're all in the same chapter, which is better than all of us being hedonistic. The final point I want to make about Christians is that most of them still do the pagan, secular holidays, and they don't even do what's considered the Jewish holidays. Because you see, although as Christians we accept Jesus Christ as our Savior, it doesn't mean we stop doing all the things from the Old Testament. It doesn't mean we stop doing all the feasts, the 7 feasts of the year. Jesus never said to stop doing that. Jesus never told you to stop doing the Shabbat, to rest on the 6th day of the week for the Lord. That's the 4th commandment. There's a bunch of things that were never denied. Of course, some things were changed, like the 613 commandments, and now that you don't have to do all the things Jewish people do. But that doesn't mean you have to stop doing some of the things they do, right? Not everything was canceled or confirmed or changed. Some things were just left there, and a lot of Christians don't do them, like Hanukkah. When I say now that I'm doing Yom Kippur or I'm doing this or that, people, oh wait, you're Jewish now? I'm like, no, it's been there forever. It's just Christians ignore it, and they just totally ignore it. And I'm gonna end on this. Religion is man-made, because in the eyes of God, we are to follow him, to follow his word, to pray, to be his child, to be a man of God, to be a good person. In God's eyes, there's no such thing as Christianity, Judaism, Islam. In God's eyes, there's just people who believe in him and faith. We're just supposed to follow God. This whole label of religion, oh, what religion? What part of the group are you? What group are you? So I know I can discriminate you, and we keep our distance because we know we don't believe in the same thing. This whole thing was created by man. When people ask, what's your religion? It hurts. Of course I say I'm Christian, but it kind of hurts to say because it's not a religion. It's just following what's already written. Amen. This video was me complaining a little bit, but it was also me trying to help some of you guys clear some things up, because I see this all the time, and I just feel like I have to share this message. Be honest to yourself, and that's how you're going to be the happiest. If after watching all of this, you still claim to be a Christian, but deep down you know that you aren't doing all the things God would want you to do, then I'm telling you now, you need to up your level because you have zero respect. And I am disappointed. Once again, I'm not saying I'm better than you. I probably still make a lot of mistakes. Because as I've said earlier in the video, you and I will be judged more harshly. So I'm saying this for the betterment of you, for the betterment of me. Since we are Christian, since we do believe in God and in Jesus. So this is a reminder for you and for me to seek him more, to seek him again, to repent for all the bad things you've been doing. Just a reminder. Brotherly love. If you're a guy and you want to improve your life, I've created a brotherhood. We can talk about self-improvement. Talk about God as well. Talk about whatever you want. You can join Discord. That. First link in the description. And if you made it this far, congrats. Because a lot of people can't watch these long-form videos that don't have a bunch of editing. So I'm proud of you for that. Anyways, I love you, bro. Take care. Praise God.
Amen. So
I love you too, bro. I have to say something.
Yeah, please. He's a friend of mine. I know him personally.
I'm not gonna
be charitable first, and then you criticize.
The fact that you have to say that is like. So,
it's like, bro, because you have a big mouth.
So bad.
You have a big mouth.
No criticism that I was gonna say was gonna be on him. First of all.
Okay, of what he said, of course.
Okay. On behalf of I hate religion, but I love Jesus. I'm not gonna say anything. Just watch this video. Bishop Robert Barron on why I hate religion but love Jesus video.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, I literally thought about this guy. If you saw that video, I'm not gonna speak more on this. Now, something I've learned in the past couple of years, which is like the last two years, maybe just a year, or maybe just a couple months before, I've learned to be very humble in my approach of trying to correct others. Very humble. Very humble. Very humble. My anger stirs up like crazy, but I like to think that it's righteous anger and it's not towards the person. And when I mean humble, I mean every time that I feel this way, my first instinct is to criticize the thing.
I don't think it's anger.
Listen, let me finish.
Okay,
it is passion, but it is anger. Anger towards Protestantism. Because Protestantism is a thing that led people to come up with their own ideas of the faith.
Right.
This guy, your friend, what's his name again? Patrick?
Call him Patrick.
Patrick. He's coming up with his own ideas and his own interpretation of what it means to be Christian because of Protestantism.
Correct.
Because of the impact that Protestantism has had on people.
Correct.
And I hate that. And it gets me so mad. Because now, people used to, back in the day, when they used to point to, I want to learn about God, where do I go? They go to the Catholic Church. They go to the institution that Christ initiated. But now people just go to, let me go inside my brain. Let me think about what it thinks first about this. And I hate that. I hate that people have to waste a second or an hour confused and not even knowing that they're confused. I hate that. I'm actually pissed. Not at him, because I'm no better than him at all. No better than him at all. In the sense that we all have to learn things.
Be charitable. What is one thing he said that you agree with?
Why do I have to be charitable first? I don't care about being charitable. I care about getting onto solving the issues right now. That's what I care about. Because what he wants is to be Christian, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's criticize everything that is anti becoming Christian so that we can help him become Christian. That's what I care about.
What did he say that you agree with? What did he start?
I don't like that tone of speaking to people. Hey, let me tell you about what you did right